So it's clearly evident that when it comes to the main event for Fatal Fury between Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero, most of, if not everyone, has Ryan pretty much dismantling Rolly in what should be a one-sided ass whooping. But because all of us pretty much assume that's how it's gonna go, is it fair to ask the question, what if Ryan vs. Rolly ends up being a better fight than most are anticipating? I mean, we all just expect Ryan to knock the squeaker out of Rolly's voice box. And because Romero looks like he walks with both his feet in, the perception from most is that Rolly's clearly around for comic relief purposes. Am I right? When people bring up the sparring that took place years ago and how Rolly roughed up Ryan, it's safe to say that at this point, Ryan isn't the same youngin from that sparring session and has clearly grown with a skill level superior to the awkward style of Romero. But here's the thing, as vulnerable as Rolly appears to be headed into this matchup, and as battle-tested as Ryan seems to be compared to him, is there a world where we all just might be jumping the gun here? I mean, because when you really think about it, Rolly's just as battle-tested as Ryan based on each fighter's resume. The only difference is that Ryan dog-walked Devin Haney to where Rolly doesn't really have any career-defining wins. But both were defeated and stopped by Gervonta Davis in what would be each of their biggest fights to date. Yes, Rolly got dropped by a mummy. Yes, he got his bell rung against Pitbull Cruz, but Rolly seems to box better with his original trainer than he did with his previous trainer Bullet. And he actually looked pretty disciplined in his performance against Manuel Jimenez. Now it's a given, Ryan's money punch is his left hook. And since Rolly's pretty much a walking magnet for the left hand as we've witnessed in his fights with Cruz and Barrosos, it really shouldn't be a hard read at all. At the same time though, we have to remember, Ryan isn't perfect, bruh. He still has flaws in his fight game, and as Rolly pointed out, Ryan has never been a champion in the sport of boxing. Let's not forget, Ryan has been dropped by Luke Campbell. Ryan, even though he put belt to ass, did appear to get hurt from a right hand against Haney. And that being his last fight says a lot when weighing out all the pros and cons. Given the fact that Devin Haney's known for his pillow hands, while Gervonta Davis just recently said going into his fight with Roach that Rolly was the hardest puncher he faced. Yes, I know Ryan Garcia was drinking and partying during his training camp for Haney, but that's also a flaw when you really think about it. And considering the fact that there have been suspicions about who Ryan has been training with, along with him posting this here, it's fair to say that we could have a better fight come May 2nd than we all expected. Like, I know Rolly Romero built this reputation as some goofball who always seems to be spaced out when speaking to media, but one thing we all know about Rolly is when it's time to troll, oh, he's gonna troll. There's no ulterior motives for his trash talk. So when you see him up there saying things about Ryan Garcia like, I know him, this boy's serious. Like, he's not joking when he says that. He really believes it. This is probably the most serious Rolly has carried himself while doing press. So I take one or two things away from that. Either he's afraid of the expected beatdown coming his way, or Rolando Romero's getting up for this fight and realizes that a win over one of boxing's biggest stars puts him not only in a better position, but also gives him even more career opportunities. And if he's as serious as he's appeared to be lately, this means Ryan cannot overlook this cat, bruh. You know, because all it takes is one slip up for a bad omen of that sparring from a few years ago coming back full circle to the point where he finds himself in a real fight here with the cliche, here we go again. And make no mistake about it, Ryan started boxing at a younger age than Rolly did. Now, Ryan says he's not overlooking him. He says he won't let this fight go to distance, and he definitely has some things to say during their last face-off. But he also just called out Teofimo Lopez in the last two pressers. And he blatantly admitted that his heart is really invested in the rematch with Devin Haney, which tells me that Ryan expects to make light work out of Rolly inside of at least 3 to 4 rounds. At least that's what the preferred assessment and prediction is. Of course, Ryan is supposed to be confident. There's nothing wrong with being confident. The problem's being overconfident and not allowing the Devin Haney distraction to have an impact if Garcia plans on doing what he's supposed to do. Which brings me to this here. Devin Haney, who also has a lot on the line in his fight against Jose Ramirez. You know, many don't really expect him to be the same since the fight with Ryan Garcia, and being that it's not only Dev's first fight at 147, but that it's his first fight since his fight with Garcia, him having a victory might not be a sure thing either, which is more than likely why Dev's been so quiet, because after all, focus is everything. If anything, this card could end up being very unpredictable when you add in how heated this shit with Teofimo Lopez and Arnold Barboza has been since the rip. Like Teofimo's been acting a fool all around the board trying to get under everyone on the card's skin. While Barbosa definitely has a chip on his shoulder and to the surprise of many is actually selling the shit out the fight with all his trash talk. So I don't know if that slap by Teofimo was a preview of things to come, but I'm here for it. Shit, at this point, there's no telling what to expect on this card. We got Teo trolling everyone wearing cowboy hats and slapping people. We got Bill Haney emotional and cussing out the media personnel. Rolly doesn't seem to have too much to say. Ryan and Haney are on a crash course. Teo and Haney running into each other on the same flight. Listen, I don't know what high school lunchroom type of shit is going on here, but if Turkey was smart, he'd get the cameras rolling and bring back HBO 24/7 or Showtime All Access, because it's definitely needed for all this. Hop off.